organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming your way on Daily Iowan TV.
I think this will just spur us to make sure that we don't overlook anything.
Hear what UI President Sally Mason has to say about the CAN bus that struck a 66-year-old man downtown.
And engaging Iowa City. See how you can weigh in on the discussion about issues surrounding education in Iowa City.
And in sports, it's Big Ten tournament time for softball. We're breaking it down here in the studio.
We'll have all that and much more
right here on Daily Iowan TV.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Welcome to your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Meehan.
And I'm Lauren Moss. UI President Sally Mason says the university will be reevaluating the way they handle CAN bus safety. Daily Iowan TV had a chance to talk to President Mason on Tuesday about Monday's CAN bus accident. A CAN bus struck a 66-year-old man as he crossed Clinton Street right next to the Newman Center. The man was rushed to UIHC, but none of his injuries were life-threatening. Mason says the university will now take a closer look at employee training and the CAN bus hiring practices.
I suspect that both public safety and our CAN bus operation will be looking at these incidents and seeing whether we need further training, whether we need to be more vigilant in terms of making certain that our CAN bus drivers are clearly the best people we can find for these jobs. I think this will just spur us to make sure that we don't overlook anything.
This was the second CAN bus accident in the last 2 years. We'll have more from our interview with President Mason later in the newscast.
The University of Iowa School of Journalism will soon have a new director. On Tuesday, David Perlmutter, the current director of the J School, announced that he is resigning effective June 30th. Perlmutter will be heading south. He has accepted a position as the new Dean of College of Media and Communication at Texas Tech University. He has been the director of the UI Journalism School since July of 2009.
And the Iowa City Community School District believes that improved learning environments can best be achieved by parents, teachers, and students working together. This is why they collaborated with Mind Mixer Company to develop a community engagement website similar to many already being implemented across the Midwest. Since then, www.engageiowacitysschools.org has allowed over 200 parents, students, and teachers to give feedback on a variety of hot topics. These comments go directly to Superintendent Stephen Murley and the Board of Education. Some topics discussed have been improving school lunches, whether or not to place cell towers on elementary school grounds, and increasing safety for students walking to school. Currently, the school district is using the site to garner information about what the community would like to see in their regulations.
When we put information out and say we're looking for your ideas on this certain topic that people feel comfortable weighing in, and it becomes a quick read on what the community wants, and that we'll be able to consistently use it as a tool going forward.
If you would like to join in on these discussions, visit the webpage listed below and sign in using your Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn account.
And don't go anywhere. We still have more from the interview with UI President Sally Mason coming your way on Daily Iowan TV. See what Mason has to say about the ideas for the Art Museum's new location.
And in sports, Bulls win. More reaction on Chicago's Game 1 upset in just a bit. But first, let's throw it over to Daily Iowan's Kelsey Kniff for the week's forecast.
Finally, the temperatures are starting to look warmer for the rest of the semester. Wednesday morning will be 72 degrees and partly cloudy. The afternoon is looking warmer with a high of 81 degrees and a 20% chance of thunder. The evening still looks to be warm, 68 degrees with a 50% chance of rain through the night. I'm going to step aside as we take a look at the 6-day forecast. Thursday, we will be expecting a high of 75 degrees and a low of 52 with a 50% chance of thunderstorms. Friday, the temperatures are looking up with a high of 80 degrees and a low of 50 with cloudy skies. The weekend temperatures are going to be a little colder. Saturday, we can expect a high of 66 and a low of 41 with a 20% chance of rain. Sunday is expected to be sunny with a high of 64, and your 6-day finishes up with warmer temperatures, looking at a high of 79 degrees and partly cloudy. That's all I have for weather. Back to you at the desk.
Questions remain as to where the University of Iowa Museum of Art will go. The 2008 flood damaged the former location of the art museum, but did not sustain enough damage to get FEMA funding. FEMA requires that more than 50% of the building is damaged. And Mason told us where the Art Envisioning Committee would like to see the reconstructed art museum be.
When we had the Art Envisioning Committee, when the art museum was taken out of commission after the flood, and I put together an envisioning committee, what that committee came back and said was they'd really like to see the art museum more centrally located, so perhaps downtown Iowa City. So we'll be talking with lots of people about what the possibilities might be. Eventually, and I think by the June board meeting, we'll have a better idea of what we would like to ask the board to allow us to do in terms of plans to proceed.
FEMA recently denied funding for the new project in the university's latest request for funds.
Tuesday, state lawmakers also talked about educational issues, more specifically, background checks. The Iowa House unanimously approved a bill that would require Iowa public school districts to conduct background checks on all employees, including part-time teachers and substitutes. Current law requires federal and state criminal checks for only licensed teachers. They also must do state criminal checks on bus drivers. The bill will return to the Senate for review.
Now let's take a look at what's happening around the world. 3 women who went missing more than a decade ago were found in Cleveland, Ohio Monday. Police say they were held captive in a house near downtown Cleveland since 2 of the girls were teens and 1 was in her early 20s. Authorities have arrested 3 brothers in connection with the case, but so far no charges have been filed.
A gas tanker truck explosion near Mexico City killed at least 19 people and injured at least 3 dozen more. The truck exploded on a highway early Tuesday. Authorities did not immediately release the cause of the explosion. Those who died were found in their vehicles as well as homes surrounding the scene of the accident.
And now for a look at sports, let's toss it over to Chelsea Brown.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. We talk Big Ten Tournament softball and put a bow on our Iowa Spring football coverage later in the show. But with another year of Hawkeye athletics winding down, the NBA Eastern Conference semifinal playoff series between the Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat has dominated the talk in Iowa City Tuesday after the Bulls' 93-86 Game 1 upset in Miami. The Heat won an incredible 41 out of the 43 straight games coming into Monday Night Showdown, but Chicago's Nate Robinson dropped 27 points to the visitors to lead the victory. But be sure to pick up Tuesday's pages of the Daily Iowan for more playoff hoops talk and commentaries. It's going to be really good stuff if you haven't checked it out already. And as we promised, some football talk. If you have been following our coverage over the past week, you are well aware of what's in store for the Iowa offense and some under-the-radar players in 2013. The one unit we haven't touched on, the defense. Daily Iowan TV Josh Bolander fills us in.
It was the problem swept happily under the rug in Kinnick Stadium at the start of 2012. Wins at Soldier Field and on the road in East Lansing somehow legitimized a glaring weak spot for the black and gold: their ability to finish games. And while the victories at the time did seem telling, collapses like the one surrendered earlier in the season to Central Michigan just foreshadowed what was to come. And Kirk Ferentz knew it.
You know, we get what we deserve, and that's what we got today. As did Central. They got what they deserve. They deserved to win. They played the full 60 and made the plays you have to make to come out victorious.
While playing the full 60 should not be an issue, with a deep and experienced linebacking core back for 2013 that has some of the Big Ten's best, including James Morris, Christian Kirksey, and Anthony Hitchens, their ability to compensate for errors on the offensive side of the ball will be a must if the Hawks are able to climb the ladder back up the Legends division, with mistakes bound to take place with a first-year QB under center. It's the one thing Kirk Ferentz knows for certain. If his team is to have success, his defense will have to step up. Josh Bolander, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
And impact players will have to emerge if the Iowa women's softball team plans on making a deep run in Thursday's Big Ten softball tournament. And to talk just about that, we bring in our softball insider, Cody Goodwin. And Cody, who do the Hawks need a Big Ten tournament out of?
They need a Big Ten tournament out of their 2, 3, and 4 hitters, which they have been catching heat later on in the season. That's Brady Wall, Megan Blank, and Michelle Zeller, the 2, 3, 4 hitters for Iowa's softball team. They've all kind of caught fire here at the end of the season, where Iowa has won 5 straight and 6 of their last 8, and including 4 straight conference games to close out this season. They ended up sweeping Purdue last weekend. To come into this weekend, they start play Thursday against Ohio State. So they really need some good hits and some good offensive production out of the core of their lineup. So if they're going to want to continue to progress on.
And I know this is one of the years that they're bringing back the Big Ten tournament. Can you talk about that a little bit and how you think Iowa will play out? Since previous tournaments they've done pretty well, but coming up, how do you think that will play out for them?
They actually had discontinued the softball tournament, Big Ten softball tournament from 2009 to 2012. They're just now bringing it back this year, which is actually good for Iowa. They missed out on an automatic bid last season after finishing second in the Big Ten standings, not able to get into that tournament and possibly win it and make their way to the College Softball World Series. But this year, they're 4 wins away. They're going to approach it similar to how the basketball teams would approach the NCAA or Big Ten tournaments. It's one game at a time. If you win, you move on. If you lose, you go home. That's really the mindset that head coach Marla Looper has been talking about for the softball team, and really just have to take it one game at a time, because if they do lose, unlike tournaments in the past where they would play everybody regardless of result, if they lose to Ohio State on Thursday, their season could be over.
And we've seen the Iowa softball team have some upsets recently. Can you talk about how you think they're going to do in this Big Ten tournament?
Well, yeah, they have a lot of upsets. They have a lot of wins over ranked teams from way earlier in the season when they played those preseason tournaments. And they start off with Ohio State, but I think Iowa has enough momentum streaking into where they could get past Ohio State in the first round, but after that comes a roadblock against number 1 seed Michigan in the Big Ten tournament. And Michigan went 20-2 in the Big Ten this season. They swept Iowa when they played in Ann Arbor earlier this year. So it's going to be tough for the Hawks to get through the second round, but I think they'll get past the Buckeyes just fine.
Sounds good. That should be a really exciting tournament to watch. Thanks, Cody, again for coming in as always. Unfortunately, we are out of time here in the studio. Nicole, Lauren, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Chelsea. And now it's time for us to give you a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan.
The results are in. We have everything you need to know about the outcome of the vote for the new Johnson County Justice Center.
And an exclusive interview. Pick up tomorrow's issue to read about what the president of Harpo Productions, Sherry Salata, said during a chat with the Daily Iowan.
And that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
Remember, you can check us out tomorrow at the same time or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching us and have a great night.